Hey, good evening. How's it going? I'm just jumping in tonight. I've got my Eat, Sleep, Read cup ready to go. And excited to be here with you guys again. Hey, this is our third night in a row. We've got a lot of exciting things to share this week, and we're excited to share with you and happy to see some friends joining us. So I'm going to let a few people pop on here, but thanks for being here. My name's Katie, and I am one half of the Literacy Ladies, and my trusty business partner is Krista, and you'll see her in the comments. She'll be here and answering some questions and sharing some links with you, and really excited to be able to share some really easy, tangible tips with parents this week that we know you can grab and use right away. That's our whole goal, and excited to be able to serve you in that way. So let's just jump in and get started. This week we've been talking about our free guide that has 9 steps for you to help keep your kids busy and learning while you work, or do all of the things that moms are doing all the time, or dads. And so we wanted to be able to dig deeper into some of those things and share some details with you. So the last couple nights we've talked about how to slip learning routines really easily into your day. And we also talked about book organization. That was a really fun, lively conversation about the abundance of books that so many of us have in our homes and how to organize them in a way that encourages our children to read them, or how to pull books in free from the libraries and use them in a way in your home where your kids are excited to open those books up. So both of those are on our Facebook page. You can grab the replay. But tonight we want to dig into another one of our third tips that we love to share with families. It may be our favorite topic to talk about, so I'm going to try to be really quick and efficient for you, but we love to share ways to choose books that your child will love. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to dig deep into having a little conversation about what are some ways that you can try to get books in your home and in the hands of your kids that will get them excited and motivated about reading. So choosing books that your kids will love is one of the best ways to encourage a love for reading, to develop a love for reading. If they don't already have that, it is for sure one of the best ways to help encourage reluctant or struggling readers. So if that's you, you've got kiddos at home who maybe don't love to read, or you think you have a hard time getting them to sit still reading, or you're bugging them to do their 20 minutes of reading that their teacher assigns, something like that. These are the best tips for you. So grabbing books that your child will love is one of the best ways to make sure that you either grow a love for reading if they don't already have that, or continue to develop a love for reading, or for sure to help struggling or reluctant readers. So specifically tonight, we're not here to share book recommendations. We've got some for sure. We love sharing book recommendations, but we want to talk about ways that you can choose books that your child will love. So I'm going to give you some examples, but really we want you to be thinking outside the box of not necessarily grabbing these books, which you for sure can, because we love sharing books with you, but thinking about what are the books that your child is going to love, that is going to hook them to becoming or continuing to grow as a reader, maybe if they already are great readers. So, all right, hey, let's jump in. We're just going to rattle off some tips for you. I know I talk fast, but I want to make sure that we use your time really wisely and share some tips with you that you can use right away. All right, here's our first tip for choosing kids' books that your kids will love. Think about books that reflect movies or TV shows that your kids like. So I know, strange tip coming from the teachers about movies and TV shows, but let's be real. Sometimes that's what our kids, are really interested in. So if we can connect books with that, then we can usually hook them. We've always used this strategy in classrooms from young kids to old kids. If there's a book or a show that they like, we can find a book that is, if there's a movie or show that then we can find a book that's related that can hook them. So I'm going to share just a couple ideas with you that match my little guy's interest. Maybe Krista can throw other ideas in the comment box, but so many endless possibilities on this one for ways to find books that match your child's interests in terms of books and or movies and TV shows. Okay, so one of my little guy's favorite movies is the How to Train Your Dragon movies. And so we just looked up online any How to Train Your Dragon books. So again, not necessarily that I think they're the best books in the world, but when he saw the book, he went nuts about wanting to read it because it's got Toothless in it, his favorite character from the movie. And so opening this book was no problem at all. Yes, Krista said in the comments, it's magic. It truly is magical. He's read this book 100 times. Because he loved the movie, right? So we've also gotten lots and lots of them from the library. So for sure, these are all strategies that you can do with library books, not necessarily books that you need to buy by any means, okay? So I've got some Paw Patrol books in my pile here too. Again, I'm not even like, a real fan of the Paw Patrol show, right? However, my little guy loves it, and so the books are his favorite. And these are, we call them the talker books, but I've shared these with a few parents that they come with a little, it's like a pretend tablet where you push the buttons and it reads the story out loud. So it's like a listening center, really. And he loves them because he can listen to the stories really independently, and they're about topics, TV show, that he already is super interested in, okay? This is also another way to stretch your readers a little bit. So I was sharing with Krista earlier that it's hard for my little guy to sit still for a long period of time for reading. And so chapter books are like, he's right at the age where it's really fun to introduce chapter books, but he doesn't want to sit for very long. And also they don't have a lot of pictures. So, he's like, Mom, where are the pictures? And so we've hooked him with a couple movies that then actually after he watched the movie first, he's obsessed with reading chapter books. So one of those examples is a classic, Charlotte's Web. He loved the movie, and then he loved the book. He sat for the whole thing, and it made my little teacher mama heart so happy, but it was because he could visualize it in his head. He had watched the movie and was into it, so then he was able to visualize it and be really into the book. And same thing happened. I was just sharing with Krista today about help me out, Krista. Mary Poppins. I couldn't think of her name. Mary Poppins. He loved the movies, and then now we're reading the chapter book. And so it's a long chapter book with long chapters, but his interest level is so much higher because he liked the movies first. So we could literally go on and on forever about all the different book and movie combos. Again, it's not necessarily about these books themselves being magical, but the magic comes and when you can find and tune into your child's interest in a book, and they realize the excitement that comes with reading, that books are not boring, that books are so cool, and they're about topics that they love, and it opens a whole new world. So yes, Chris has got a couple ideas in the comment box. Fancy Nancy. Yes, my little girl's not old enough yet for me to be super into those, but I know my students loved them, and I know that her little one loves those. So that one is your favorite, and you just bought some maybe that I was just sharing. I don't know. So cool. All right. Hey, very good. I'm going to move on to the next tip. So first one, books and TV shows connection, or movie, TV shows connection with books. And the next one would be sports. So thinking about sports your child loves, or maybe they're really into dance or soccer or whatever the topic is that, or sport or activity is that they are really interested in. Finding books on that topic would be our next suggestion. And also, I know I mentioned that using your library to gather these books is a great idea. You also can utilize your local librarians. They love, in my experience, any of them that I've worked with, they love to choose books for patrons. So if you were to just tell them, hey, I would love to do a library pickup order. My child is super into soccer right now, and maybe even tell them the age or level of your reader, they will usually gather a stack of books for you on that topic. You don't even have to go in the library. It's amazing right now. You can just drive on up, and so many of them are doing library pickup orders, and they will put together stacks of books based on the topics that you give them. So just thinking about books or about topics that your child loves, sometimes you don't even have to do the work. You just ask a librarian, and they're so wonderful, and they love doing that kind of work. Often they will choose books for you to go with that topic. So second suggestion was sports or activities that your child's into. Finding books on those topics. Ferdinand the Bull, I see in the comment box. Good one. Cool. Very good. Oh, yes. And for sure, you can look at the library and search yourself. Somebody said in the comments. So, of course, that's an excellent idea, too. I'm just all about easy. So if they're going to help me out, I'm like, yes, for sure. Okay, nonfiction books. this is a favorite in our house. Every child's different, right, with their interest levels. That's the whole point. But for us, nonfiction books are a huge hook for getting my little guy to read. And in the classroom, this has been a big hook too. So we love having different bins with different topics, different nonfiction topics. And this works really well with our library basket we talked about earlier this week. Thinking of a nonfiction topic that your child's really into, gathering those from the library. They live in the library basket for a little while. So got a couple examples for you. Right now we're doing the butterfly kits where we ordered the caterpillars and we've got the little cups, and hopefully they're going to, make their chrysalis and turn into butterflies. And so because that topic is front of mind in our house and we're talking about it and we're learning about it, we've been reading the caterpillar and to butterfly book, right? So this one came from Grandma, and a perfect read right now because it matches with interest in our house and what we are learning about at the time. So just an example of a nonfiction topic that is of high interest right now at our house. So book to go with that. I thought I grabbed some snake books to share with you guys. Maybe I didn't. Oh, here we go. Not a snake one, but this one is a huge favorite at our house. Animals nobody loves. It's the strangest book, but it's got all the crazy animals like spiders and vultures and king cobras, and not my kind of book at all. But my son, who's super into all the creepy, crawly, weird creatures, thinks it's like the best book in the world. So remembering what your child is really interested in is the way that we grab those books that are going to want them to open them. So that is, those are a couple nonfiction examples in our house. We went through a snake phase. Last spring, we had a snake in our yard. We called him our pet snake because it was in the same spot all the time. This has happened to anybody? I wasn't sure I loved it very much, but it was, it provided some real entertainment last spring. And so we read so many snake books because it was a topic that was front of mind and high interest at our house. So nonfiction books, huge hit. I know I talked about a lot of boy topics, but totally could work with, whatever, anything that your child is into, nonfiction topics. You can find tons of books to go with them. So looking at the comment box, cheetahs. Been playing cheetahs all week. So inspired our trip to the library, grabbed a ton of books about cheetahs. Yeah, snakes. I know. Ooh. But hey, whatever it takes to get the kids opening the books, right? That's the whole idea. Okay. I'm going to keep going. Places that your child loves or has visited or would like to go. I love this idea. This was one of Krista's ideas, I think. But we have a handful of books. I don't have them here, but from we went to visit the redwood trees in California. And so we got a book when we were there at the park. Picking up books sometimes when you're on a trip can be a really special way to have those be books that your child wants to go back to again and again. And so we have family and friends that lived in San Francisco. And so we love to read the Goodnight San Francisco book. So those books that have a connection, like a special connection for your child of a place that they're really interested in or that they have been to or that they would like to go to are another great idea to grab your reader's interest. So places that they'd like to go or have been, historical events or people, anything that is of interest to your kids, right? That's what we want to grab, books that could spark their interest. That's another one. I was sharing earlier that we're really into the Xavier Riddle Secret Museum show right now. It's on PBS, and it's all these great historical things for your kids to learn about. And so he's been super interested in all of these different people from history. And so then we've been checking books out from the library that match with those people that he's gotten this sudden interest about wanting to learn about. So thinking about things that maybe are important to your family or that are interesting to you that you want to introduce to your child. Those are all good ways to just kind of break outside of the box. If you've been reading the same kind of bedtime stories over and over or lots of fiction, we love fiction. That's a great thing to read for sure. But thinking of some of these topics are ways to introduce nonfiction or to hook your child with some new interesting topics. So, oh yes, in the comment box, so prep them for a trip that they're going on. Great idea. So somewhere you're going to go, reading books on those topics is a really good idea too. Very good. Okay, I'm going to throw just a couple more ideas at you and then we'll wrap up tonight. But series books are an excellent way to keep your readers interested. Series books trying one out that your kid loves and then grabbing more and more and more. So our favorites are Magic Tree House books we read with our students for years and years and love to read with our kiddos. But hooking them on one or two and then being able to go back to those series books, there's like a billion of those now. And so sometimes as parents, we might get tired of reading certain books or certain series or a certain author, but it's so important to remember to continue to really encourage a love for reading. And so when we find a series or an author, that's actually next on my list, but a favorite author that your kids are really into, to be able to continually check out more of those is a really good way to keep them hooked. So, hey, Lauren just joined us. Good to see you. Yes, love the series, guaranteed win. Yes, for sure. Tell us in the comments, Lauren, what series are your kids into? Because you've given me some really good ideas for mine too. Couple like really popular series ones we'll throw at you that lots of kids love, like Duck and Goose, Fancy Nancy, the Berenstain Bears, Frog and Toad. I know I said Magic Treehouse already. Magic School Bus incorporates nonfiction really well. I had one up here that, the Little Critter books. These are like so old, but my son loves them. And so once you just get them hooked on one, getting that same series or same author is, I don't know, it's like, it's magical for the kids, right? Once they get one and they love it, opening something with the same characters that they already know and love makes them want to keep reading. So that one's a favorite at our house. And then some of them, like, I don't know if you call them series, but like Little Blue Truck, you guys know those Little Blue Truck books. Just like the same author. And then I guess it's series, right? They have like several of them. So we love Little Blue Truck. So, we also have Good Night Little Blue Truck. There's like 5 Little Blue Truck Goes to the City. So once your kid gets hooked on one, just throwing in some more. Yes, Krista says your kids love little critters too. Yeah. The Little Critter books, I think we really love here because we want to find all of the little critters on each page. What are they? There's like a spider and what is it, you guys? A grasshopper on every page, and you have to like find them all. I think that's why he really wants to read the books, but whatever it takes, right? It's building that like, oh, I love having a book open. Even if your kids are really just looking for the spider and the grasshopper on the page and you're like, come on, let's read the story. They're building a love for reading, and that's what matters. So even if, you got to skip the words sometimes because they're having fun with the pictures, it's okay, and continually pull out those books. So lots of good ideas over here in the comments. Oh, the I Survived series. Yeah, I remember those from teaching, that kids were really into those. And okay, cool. National Geographic, the Explorers Academy, Sophie Mouse, Winnie the Pooh. Oh yes, Junie B. Jones. Very good. Lots of good ones over there. Cool. And then some other, like, just maybe not a whole series, but a lot of times an author has like, just several of that kind of book, and just remembering what your kids like and going back for more of that is a really good strategy. So Little Whitefish was like a silly book that my child loved. And so then we went back for Little Whitefish is So Happy. And so just finding more of that same author, same topic, same series is a really good tip. Okay, quick recap. We talked about finding books that match your child's interest by connecting books with movies and TV shows that they love, nonfiction topics they're super interested in, sports and activities that they are doing or interested in, or maybe about to begin. I know Krista said, I think they're like about to do T-ball, so they went to get books about T-ball. So maybe it's like an introduction, which like builds excitement, which is a great idea. Pout Pop Fish. Yeah, we love the Pout Pop Fish books for sure. And a couple of the other ideas we shared were places, books about places that you have been to or are going to visit with your kids, or that are like special to them or they're interested in. A really great idea is if you do travel, even just little trips, picking up a book when you go somewhere, and those books become like a special memory of the different places that you've been. And we always like to try to do that. Historical events or people they're interested in, series books, additional books by the same author. I know it's a lot. One more, personality. So thinking about your child's personality and what kind of books match their personality. So if you've never read The Book with No Pictures, it's like hilarious. And if you have a silly kid, then you want to think about silly books, right? And the books that are going to make them laugh. Maybe your kid is not silly and they're super serious and they love like science. And so you want to focus more on choosing books that match that. But remembering, of course, we always want to pull out books that as parents, we want our kids to love and hopefully that they will. But really, really important as you're developing and helping them grow a love for reading. And especially if you're encouraging new readers, reluctant readers, or struggling readers, choosing lots of books that are of high interest to them that they will love is super important. So, hey, any other ideas that I didn't touch on that you guys have that you want to share about ways to choose books that your kid will love? Again, I love sharing book ideas. That's like so fun. However, I said at the beginning, it's really not about like grab these books, but really about thinking about brainstorming what are books that your child will love and using some of those topics to help you. So if you were going to start out, are there some books that you can think of or topics that you can think of that you're like, oh, those are topics that I think I should go check out or see if I could get from the library? I see in the comments when you do a library order, oh yeah, go through these tips and search for those topics. Yes, for sure. And then one other way, maybe you're not heading to the library soon or out to buy books, you can use library apps or just other book apps to gain access to a wider variety of text. So one of the library apps that we love the most is Hoopla, and you can do audiobooks or books to read on Hoopla. And search for all kinds of books in these topics. Maybe you as a parent want to like look through them first and make sure that they're a book that you like before you want to go get a physical copy of it from the library. So that's one way to do that. Epic is another one of our favorite book apps. I think, help me out, Krista, there might be a cost to that one for parents, but if you're up for it, it is totally worth it because they're all real books in there. And so they're books that your kids can read. They can push the read to me button and you can for sure search by topic in there. I know because we read all the snake books in Epic back when I was telling you about how we looked at all the snakes last spring. So great way to use those apps or library apps to search for books that are of high interest for your kids as well. Ooh, great idea. Yeah, ask your friends. Text a group of girlfriends and share recommendations. So many good ones. Yes. For sure, one of our favorite ideas too is to do a book swap. That's on my list that I had forgotten to share that we have done. We've also done this with puzzles, but books for sure. Telling maybe a friend, hey, we're super into snakes over here right now. Do you got any snake books? And then maybe they say, yes, we're really into Fancy Nancy. You have some of those? And you just label them in a Ziploc baggie, book swap for a while, and then swap back. Just having something new makes it extra exciting. So it's another really good idea. Oh, $4.99 a month for Epic. Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing that. Hey, in case you were like, oh my goodness, that was a lot of tips and I don't remember all of them, we wrote them all down for you and we're going to give you them for free. So don't worry about it. I hope you didn't worry about taking notes. Krista will put a link in the comments to a blog post that we wrote all about choosing books that your kids will love. All these tips are listed there if you want to go there and read more. Tons of reading tips for parents and families there. And then also she'll put a link in the comments to our free parent guide, 9 steps to keep your kids busy and learning while you work. Again, or while you homeschool your other kids, or while you rock the babies or do the dishes or whatever else you're doing. And all of these tips are listed in there too, because getting kids to choose books that they love is going to for sure encourage their independence and encourage them to pick up books that they really want to read. So you can grab that free guide in the comments, totally free, and you can click there and we'll send it to you right away. So, hey, if you are also looking for another way to inspire a love for reading and for learning, you can check out Virtual Literacy Camp. We for sure will be helping encourage a love for reading for your kids there. And so we'll have a link to Virtual Literacy Camp in the comments as well. Virtual Literacy Camp for the summer launches tomorrow. We're so excited. So registration opens tomorrow. There are still some spots available right now. We're running spring break mini camp. So it's kind of like a taste of what's to come this summer. It's super fun. Parents and kids are loving it. So you can find lots of pictures on our Literacy Camp social media as well. So Virtual Literacy Camp registration opens tomorrow. It comes this summer. It's like all pre-recorded. Parents will love it. And once you jump in, you have access to it all summer. So it is yours to use whenever it is convenient for you. And if you want to come back and join us tomorrow, we've been sharing lots of fun tips all week. Tomorrow, we're going to chat all about Virtual Literacy Camp. We're going to give you behind the scenes. What does it look like? Some examples, answer any questions that you have. Super excited to share lots of details about that with you then. So, hey, Jocelyn, I see you just joined us too. Good to see you. So glad that you're here. And Yay, she signed up for spring break and excited to start on Monday. Yay, so glad. I know Lauren is excited as well. So yeah, there will be summer camp. Lauren is going to have a little more in the schedule than your spring break one. So if you click on that link for virtual reading camp, it shows you exactly, because I know you're really know exactly what's going on with spring break camp. It shows you side by side like what virtual camp for the summer has add-ons. So in addition to what you're doing for spring break camp right now, there are reading lesson videos, virtual field trips, more all kinds of more fun available for you. So it's going to be so fun, and I'm so glad that your kids are loving spring break camp and hoping to see them again this summer. So, hey, thanks for hanging out with us, you guys. We really appreciate it, and we hope that you grabbed 1 or 2 or 5 tips that you could go and put into place to help bless your family right away and get your kids loving books or continuing to love books if they already do. Have a great night.